So welcome everyone. We are going to ask, we really want this session to be really interactive. So if your cameras are turned off, we ask that you turn them on so we can see you and we feel that we have a live audience that we're presenting to. We also ask that you mute your phones so we don't get any background noise, but there will be an opportunity for us to open it up for Q&A. I do want to let everyone know that the meeting is being recorded. So we will share this deck with all participants once the meeting's over. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get started. Good evening and welcome everyone to our grand finale of College Week in Eastern. The session that you're attending now is How to Succeed in College. And we sort of see this as the culminating event, sort of bringing what we've been doing all week to full circle, because now you're going to get the insight of the college experience from the actual student athletes. And so we're so pleased that joining us tonight, we have William Blumberg, who many of you may have just saw partnered recently as a wild card pair with Jack Sock at the 2021 Hall of Fame in Newport, and he won his first ATP 250 title. So congratulations on that very recent win. And with his run, he's entered the top 300 at world number 284 in the doubles rankings. And during his junior career in Eastern, he did play at each of the 4 Grand Slam junior tournaments. Blumberg became the first 10-time All American in ITA history, winning the honor in both singles and doubles in 2017 and 2021. Also joining us is Gibson Thomas, also known as Gibby. Gibby is also a former Eastern junior. She is currently enrolled at UPenn. She was a 4-star recruit rated by Tennis Recruiting Network. She earned the highest national ranking of 97 in the country. She was undefeated in high school competition, and Gibby was an honor student and valedictorian at Horace Mann High School. So thank you so much. We're just so honored to have these 2 wonderful individuals and amazing athletes joining us tonight. I do want to, moderating the session, I cannot forget and miss the 2 wonderful Eastern staff members I get to work with every day, Elena Bantowska and Gustavo Loza, who really brought this vision to life. They're going to be moderating this session, and you guys are in for a super awesome treat. So sit back, enjoy. Elena, Gustavo, I'm going to hand it off to you guys.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Will and Gibby, and everybody that joining us today. Today we want to talk about your recruiting process, some of your experience in college. How did you spend your summers? How did you train? How did you balance your academic work? Some anecdotes, perhaps, and your plans after college. Because all that will help all these kids that are joining us today that have that dream and want to go to college as well. So we'll love to start with you, Will. You're fresh off, like Julie mentioned. Just recently graduated, had your first ATP title, which is huge. Congratulations, first of all. And second, how does this motivate you? And what are your plans? What are your immediate plans for the summer post-graduation?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it was big. I mean, I just finished school, and turning pro is very different than like playing junior events and even playing in college. It's difficult. Sometimes you can lose, weeks and weeks in a row and have one good week, and then you get all your stuff. So having a good week is very motivating, and staying positive is big. So played in Newport. Played this week in Cary, and then we'll train for a week and then just continue playing. I think I'll play some futures, and maybe me and Jack, hopefully we'll reunite for some more tournaments in the summer. I'm begging him to play the Open with me, so we'll see.
I think that worked out.
Yeah, I know, but yeah, so those are my immediate plans. Just keep working on the game and figuring it all out. But yeah.
And Will, you were like Julie mentioned, you were a top junior. You were ranked 4 ITF in the world. You played all Grand Slams, but you decided to go to college still. Can you walk us through that thought process? Why did you decide to go to college, and how did you make that decision with your parents, with your coach? Can you walk us through
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, for sure. You know, starting a little bit more behind, when I grew up in Connecticut, and education was really important in my family, as well as obviously tennis was too, but education was always super important. And I went to school through 8th grade, and then in 8th grade, it just got too difficult for me to play tennis and travel as much as I wanted to, and also, you know, go to school. So I decided to go to online school. But as I was doing online school, you know, I'm sure some guys here are thinking about it or doing it, or, you know, there's a mix, but it's very isolating. I'm a pretty social person with my friends, so it's super important for me to be around my friends, or else I'll just start, you know, being unhappy, and that's, you know, not good for your tennis game, as well as just in life. So I decided that after playing the ITF tournaments, I went back to school for my senior year. Throughout that year, the ages that I traveled with were the 98th year. I was born in 98. So it's Francis, you know, Michael, Mo, Tommy, those guys are all my age group. Everyone went pro and they were all killing it. And I was like, you know what, for me, it's different. I need to go to college. I needed to let my body mature, my mind mature. You know, playing pro is cool, right? Like doing all these things are cool. Like being in college is cool. Committing to a college is cool, but you want it to be cool because it's right for you and the right decision. You don't want to do it because you want an Instagram post that's going to make, you know, your friends comment or something. You don't want to do something that's because it's cool at the time. You want to do it because it's right for you and the right path. And that path might be different for everyone. And for me, I felt that college was the best path for my career. So, excuse me. So, you know, my family and people around me helped me make that decision. But, you know, looking back, it was the best decision that I could have made. And you know, I would do it 100 times over. So, yeah.
Yeah, not a bad generation you play with. That's pretty solid. And this week we've been hearing a lot of people, a lot of experts um, talk about, a lot of the coaches talk about picking the good fit, picking a school that is a good fit for you, and vice versa. How did you make sure North Carolina was that good fit? Did you make a lot of visits to other schools? Did you visit North Carolina a couple of times? What was that process for you?
Yeah, it's tough, right? I mean, because, you know, I can tell you now that I'm done with school that some coaches are really good recruiters, but, you know, when you get there, it's different, and some, you know, are the opposite. So the whole game of recruiting is difficult. I think that first of all, you have to trust your gut. You're right. You have to have some people around you that you trust. I visited a bunch of schools and talked to a bunch of coaches. For me, it came down to Virginia and UNC. At the time, Virginia was like a powerhouse of a school, so I was very attracted to the school, but it was a little too similar to where I grew up, and I kind of wanted to get, you know, a little different. And I love the coaches at UNC, but really it just came down to like the connection I had and my gut feel. I felt like I could have great academics, great athletics, and also have like a life kind of, just, you know, kind of be a human being outside of tennis. So I felt that that was really important for me, and I just kind of felt, you know, that was my gut feel, and I was happy with how it turned out.
Thanks, and welcome from me as well to both of you. I think this is so exciting. I mean, to have you both on this panel and to share your experiences with our audience. We have kids from the level 5 tournament and a lot of other children that play in Eastern section. So I hope, you know, they take the best out of this and you know, use it in their choice of college and tennis and going forward in life. So I'm going to continue with Gibby. Hi. And Gibby, you're a junior in UPenn, top academic school. We know you're a great student, you know, growing up. Did you always know you wanted to go to an Ivy League school or top academic school? Like, how was that for you?
No, I didn't know that I always wanted to go to an Ivy League. I knew that I always wanted to go to a top academic school because for me, like academics and tennis, they both played a very similar role in my life. Like I just wanted to kind of, you know, always try to perform at the best, what I thought was the best and what felt the best for me. And so a lot of my recruiting process was mostly looking at like D3s, high level D3s, smaller schools, and then also some Ivies. And I actually initially committed to not an Ivy. I committed to a D3 school initially, and then I realized that for me, the school wasn't the best fit. It was hard because I actually really loved the team and really loved the coach. And I still am in contact with the coach and a lot of girls from that team. But I decided to decommit because I realized that if I didn't have tennis, and if tennis wasn't a factor for some reason, like I would not want to be at that school. And so I made I made the decision.
We miss you here, though. You know that, right?
I'm just going to ask everyone to
Yes.
mute.
Well, Tim is already asking me.
We can hear a
Tim is
conversation
already
about
asking
Tim.
me, Michelle, you have to make.
Michelle or Tim, thank you so much. Go ahead, Gibby.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
So I made the decision to decommit, and I actually applied to Penn without tennis at all. Of course, tennis, like that was on my application because of course I dedicated at that point over a decade to tennis, and like hours and hours on end to tennis. But I applied ED to Penn without it, and I actually got in, and then I started talking to my coach now, and then I walked onto the team. And so yeah, that was it was honestly great for me because I kind of got the best of both worlds with what I always wanted. I got to be at a top school and then also play on the team. So it's awesome.
Yeah. Can you tell us a bit more about your path? How did you train? What were the most important tournaments? What events were you focused on? How did you prepare for your tests? Any lead to college?
Yeah. So tennis wise, I was training a lot. As everybody is, I know. So probably minimum like 10 hours a week. And then I was also training with my high school team. And I know everybody has like a different experience with high school tennis. Either your team is like, really great for some reason, or like your team might not be so great. So I know a lot of people make the decision not to play high school tennis. But for me, that was seriously like a highlight of my school and just like my junior experience in general. My team and I were very close and we were actually pretty good. So I really loved practicing with them. And so I would train with them sometimes like for 2 hours and then go and train after school tennis. And so that could be a lot, but kind of like Will was saying, like, if you like it, you're going to want to do it. If I didn't like it, I wouldn't have done it and I wouldn't have had a good time and I wouldn't have been good at it. So yeah, I was training a lot, as I'm sure most of you are, and I was playing pretty much all the big summer tournaments like clays, hards, zonals, very similar experience to high school tennis and very similar experience to college tennis. And I think high school tennis and zonals made me really, really excited for college tennis because it kind of gives you a glimpse into playing on a team and playing for a team. And, you can play doubles and kind of experience what it feels like to play for someone else, but you don't really know what it's like to play for someone else until you're playing on a whole team. So, and to cheer for other people and to support other people. Again, you can cheer for your friends at a tournament, but it's not the same when their win is your win. And so that really gave me like a good glimpse into college tennis. And so, yeah, I was playing all those tournaments, probably like 2 or 3 times a month. And yeah, 2 or 3 times, 1 to 3 times a month, normally besides the summer. And then, summer was like the most fun thing, just training all day and getting to go to camps. And I trained with you, Elena, one summer.
Yeah.
So like, that's like one of the best times of tennis, I think, is the summer. And then academically, I was just always trying to put my best foot forward. I never really wanted to bank, and it's a good thing I didn't, clearly, but I never really wanted to bank on the fact that I would just, get to commit to a school. And so I didn't really have to I didn't ever commit to that thought of like having to, getting to slack off a little bit in school, because that at the end of the day, you're going to be able to like get a leg up through going through the tennis recruiting process. And I'm obviously so glad I thought like that, because I ended up applying like as a regular student. So yeah, I was always trying to put my best foot forward academically. I took my SAT like 3 times, and I recommend taking the SAT as many times as you want until you get the score that you want, because you can super score things, and that was a great decision for me. I studied for that just using like online programs and SAT books. And I was also a part of some extracurriculars. I used to do musical theater a lot, and I would actually, like in the spring, every spring, I would do a musical. So I was going to school and then had a musical theater. Like I had my rehearsal.
We should have done something here. I should have made you sing or something.
Yeah, next time.
We'll start with Yeah, it would have been a good entrance.
Yeah, next time we'll start with the national anthem.
Yeah.
And then I'll do that. And then I did that, and then I would have tennis at the end. And again, like Will was saying, like it gave me balance, and it made it so that tennis wasn't like kind of the only thing that I could see and only thing that I was working towards. It gave me the chance to, do other things that I enjoy and get to spend a lot of time with my friends. And so that I could still, at the end of the day, go and put my best foot forward in tennis as well.
Yeah, well, thank you. That's very well described, to be honest. I mean, I wish, everybody's listening to this and taking notes in, how to go about, training and applying to colleges and kind of getting through that process. But Will, I'm going to turn to you and talk about your life in college a bit. You actually got a 5th year eligibility and decided to come back. Can you tell us more about that? Why did you make that decision? What prompted it?
Yeah, I mean, when I went to school, I had a good freshman year. After my freshman year, I was like, I'm gonna turn pro. I'm gonna do it. Like, I'm gonna turn pro. I was like, you know what? I'm not ready. So I came back. And then the next year I was like, I'm going to turn pro. And then the next year I was like, every year. And then I was like, I just wasn't ready. There's like so much to do. And then I fell in love with just, the team aspect. It's like, there's something about it that like I live for. Like, I'm sure some of you guys play in zonals and just something about like being on the bus with the guys and like, you getting to know everyone. And like, it just means so much. And after my 4th season, which was like a half of a season, we played until the beginning of March. Our team was playing well, and then COVID happened, and it obviously put everyone's lives in such an interesting and difficult place. And there was no tennis, so I said, it was the best for me by far to go back to school, because college tennis is not only an unbelievable level, but it's such a good resource where you have everything. For me, I went on the path of wanting to play pro tennis, so I could either leave when there's no events and everything kind of in shambles and have to then find a coach and trainer and, fitness and everything on my own, or I could go back to the university that I loved and have my coaches there. You have fitness there, you have mental coaching there, you have everything you need, you have everything you need is at school. So I said, for me, it's the best to go back and have matches and be in the best position for me. So that was why I went back, and I would go back for a 6th, 7th day as much as I could. I'd never leave if I could.
Look, you can't be on the pro tour and be in college forever. That I know. But hey, as much as you can take out of college, right? It sounds like absolutely amazing experience for you. So great to hear that. What is your favorite memory from college tennis? Something that you would say, oh my God.
I think I have 2. One, this year we won the indoor national championship, and
Congratulations.
That was good. I think all my favorite memories are team memories. Doing stuff as individuals is cool, but it doesn't mean anything close to what it means to do something as a team. I think that my number 1 favorite memory was my freshman year. We played the Final Four in Athens, Georgia, and we were playing against Georgia. We were down 2-3. And then when rain delay, we came back inside, and my best friend on the team was still like my best friend now, Bo Boyden. He clinched the match to send us to the national championship. And when he clinched the match, we ran, and there's like, I'm going to show you guys. There's a picture of us hugging. And this is probably my favorite memory.
Closer.
It's a great picture.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know. It was a cool moment, like watching someone who worked so hard for something that, Bo grew up, just super smart guy, and he wasn't very highly recruited, walked on the team and just earned everything he had. He worked so hard. He worked harder than anyone I've ever met in my life. And to see him have such a good moment like that and be such a close friend for me it's an amazing moment. So that was for sure my favorite moment in school.
That's great to hear.
No, that's a really good one, and I love that you have the picture there to remind you. And
Gibby, shoes on the back.
Yeah, And Gibby, we know you're only halfway there, but what is your favorite memory so far? What is your favorite moment?
Yeah, similar moment, also a clinch. It was actually from this past year. We got like everybody, I'm sure, like an abbreviated season. And so I only got to play like 2 matches, 2.5 kind of, because one got rained out in the middle. But we had been training like pretty much the whole semester, like we were gonna have match play. So whenever we got the chance to compete, like we were really excited because we were working for it. But we were kind of rusty going into matches, and other teams that we were going to be playing had been playing all season. So then we were kind of scared, going in with like a scared mindset a little bit. And we were playing, it was our second match of the season, so our second and our final match. And we started down one player because it happened that like some of my teammates had to quarantine, and then a couple were unfortunately injured. So we actually had only 5 girls who were able to play. And as you know, you need 6 at least. So we had to default our 6 singles, and we had to default our 3rd doubles. Actually one of our players played doubles. So we got to play all 3 doubles, but then she couldn't play singles. And so we ended up losing the doubles point, and we ended up being down 2-0 going into singles because of all the defaults. And then we lost the doubles point. And so we were really nervous, and we already felt rusty. We were already kind of on edge. And then we were playing, and we have a little scoreboard up, but sometimes the scoreboard isn't updated. So like, I didn't know what was going on the other like whole row of courts. I just could like really focus on my match, and then could kind of see what was going on the court next to me, but I didn't really know what was going on until like pretty much it got to where everybody was watching my match. So I was like, oh, I kind of have a feeling about what's going on here. And then my coach knows that I can be a little bit of a nervous wreck. So if she knew that if I knew that I was the deciding match, like I would kind of freak out a little bit. So I was like, oh, she came over to talk to me on a changeover, and I was like, oh, what's the score? And she's told me my own match score. And I was like, no, I know my score. I mean, what's the score for the whole match? And she was like, oh, it's 3-3. And I was like, okay, well, and I was already in a 3rd set. I had lost the 1st set pretty badly, but then was able to come back. And it was such a great moment because I had like my whole men's team cheering for me from the bleachers because they had practice right after. So they were all there. And then I had like the men's coaches up there. And then I had my whole team next to me right beside me. And my coach was like looking at me with such hopeful eyes. And then I was able to pull it off, which was like a really great moment because we didn't have a lot of those moments this year. And so it was just a really awful. It was a really awesome feeling to be able to feel that. And be able to clinch something for the team. That was great.
Yeah, that's the best part, playing for something other than yourself, right?
Yeah.
And we are sure you're gonna have a lot of those moments in the future. And going back to you, Will, a little bit. You had a little bit of you started college in January, right? You did not start in the fall. Can you tell the kids why did you do that, and did you think that affected you or actually helped you, because you had quite the year as a freshman?
Yeah, I started in January. When I went back to school, well, when I went to online school, the transition for me was pretty difficult. I don't know the exact rules, but I don't know, like, there's some rule you can't repeat a year in high school and then you lose a year or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but I did 8th grade twice. So when I went to online school, I did 8th grade again. And then when I went back to school, I said, like, screw this. Like, I need to go back. I need to go faster. So I took a bunch of classes, and then I was able to go in January of that season and play the season. But it actually, I can see why people would want to go in the fall for a normal experience. You can move in with people, you can meet new friends, and you can do everything. And that's awesome for sure. For my personal path, I was really focused on tennis, so it was great for me. I was able to go in college. Like, when you play for a team, you basically have, if you go to the right school, you have like 12 new like best friends and like very close friends. So I had, all my friends. I was able to meet a bunch of friends, but I was very focused on what I was doing, which was really important to me. College is so difficult. You hear everyone, I'm sure your parents or whoever, tell you that time management is crucial. well, when you get to college and no one's telling you to do your homework or no one's telling you to not to go out, it's just on you. It's crazy crucial for time management. So that me going in January and not really going out and not really having all the time, because every weekend we played matches, was super important for me to just go in and focus on school and friends when I could, and tennis. And I still had a bunch of friends and met, so many great people that I'm still very close with, but it helped me be very structured, which was important for me.
And can you tell our listeners what kind of a year you have? Just so they have some context, because you made an NCAA final, singles final, and you were over 30 wins, right? What was your record?
Yeah, that
you
year
remember?
I think in the year like 31-3 or something.
That's not bad, right?
Yeah, it was a good year.
That's pretty impressive.
I wish I could hone that in every year, but that was a good year.
Absolutely.
When was your first team event, and what events have you played throughout your career?
My first team event, I played in like Junior Davis Cup. I played the Little Mo. I went to Croatia when I was so young, which is, looking back, kind of absurd, but I don't know how old I was, but that was like a team event, but it was kind of like a fake team event. But my first real team event was playing Junior Davis Cup. I played for the 14-year-old team. And then I played for the 16-year-old team in Junior Davis Cup. 14-year-olds, we went to Mexico for qualifiers, and then Croatia, and then Czech Republic, and then 16, I think maybe just Mexico or something. I can't really remember, and then I played 1 year. I played in for the USTA Eastern team in Illinois. I don't know I think maybe zonals, but I don't know what it was. It was a team event, but it was unbelievably fun. And then the college events.
Yeah, probably was zonals, I think. Ibi, what about you? Talk about the team events.
Yeah.
JTT, zonals, high school. You played so much.
Yeah, I played a lot of high school tennis, but I was actually playing, JTT before that. I played for a while, actually. I think I played from I was pretty young, like 10 to like 14, 15. And then I also played zonals every year, I want to say, from I was 12 to till I could stop playing zonals. Basically, it was like my favorite thing ever. And then team events. But I had high school took up like a lot of my team things as well in the fall. So yeah.
Nice. Well, it's great to hear you both had team experiences juniors. So I guess that what even prompted you, right, to go forward and to look toward college team event, right? Team competition. It's pretty important.
How do you think? Do you think that playing in those team events as a junior helped you interact better in a team atmosphere in college? Do you think they help you?
Yeah, I definitely think it helped me a lot. I think just even knowing, because like I was saying earlier, like tennis is such an individual sport that you don't really, unless you know how to interact on a team, like you don't really know unless you played it. And so I think I learned a lot, just even about like how to cheer for people and, like when to cheer and when to support this person and when to support this person. Obviously, you're always supporting people, but, like when someone needs your help a little bit more than another person might need your help. And just how to play for other people. And even if, and at times, like you're feeling like really down on yourself, like getting yourself back up because you like, you want to work hard for other people around you. I think I learned pretty much all the fundamentals of playing for a team from junior tennis. And the team experiences that I got then.
And what about you, Will? Did you feel like playing those team events as a junior helped you become a better teammate, or not, or maybe not so much?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think you also just keep learning as you go. I think college is such an interesting experience because, you're kind of living with each other and going through all aspects of life. But I also think it teaches you a lot more. I mean, just about like life and being on a team and, a leadership role, if you're into that and kind of how to interact with your peers, but also be a leader and how to, I think it all is very interesting and also not just helps with team, but it helps in your life. I mean, I think you learn a lot of things that you learn playing on a college tennis team that you can use for the rest of your life, of how to interact with a business team or how you need to interact in a structure. And I think that, obviously it helps, playing a team tournament will obviously help you in college, but, it'll also help you like gain skills that you'll need in everyday life. So just as crucial.
Such great points. Thank you for sharing that. Just making a comparison of real life. We always work in a team. Absolutely true.
100%.
Even now, 100%. So thank you for those points. We actually dug up something from a few years back. It shows some skills of Gibby's, and I'm going to share that video. So bear with me. And Gibby, we're just going to ask you a couple of questions on that.
We're sure everybody has seen it before at some point at the Open.
Yep. It's really cool. So tell us a bit about this video.
So I'll start. So this was the summer before my junior year of high school. So I think summer of 2017. And I was just like in the grocery store with my mom. I was in Fairway. And then I got a call from a random number that like I didn't know. And I was telling Elena this before, like I don't normally pick up like random numbers because I just feel like it's going to be spam or whatever. But that time I guess I had a gut feeling, but I picked it up, and it was like Net Generation and an advertising company asking me to be in this commercial, saying that they got my information like through Eastern, and just like telling me about it and asking me if I would do it. And I was like, of course. And I had no idea that it would be like play it to the degree that it was. I was in, so I played, I think I just got back from Clay's. I think Clay Courts for me then was in Virginia Beach, and I had just gotten back from there. And then I went straight to this, to film this. And then it took like the whole day, and I got a lot of paint all over me, a lot of costume changes. And then I think I played hards like a few days after. And then I went to the US Open, and I actually wasn't even inside. So like I said, I had no idea it was going to be played to this degree. Like I didn't know where it was going to be shown or how often, but I had no idea. And then I was at the like opening day of the US Open, and some of my friends were inside Arthur Ashe Stadium, but I wasn't. I just had like grounds tickets. And then they were like sending me videos from inside the stadium because it was playing on the big screen. And I was like, what is going on? And it was really cool. And then I was getting to like see myself on ESPN and stuff. And I'm just really, really grateful for that opportunity, because that was an amazing experience, an amazing opportunity.
Well, you look great. And, I just want to point out that tennis gives you so much, right? I mean, if you were not playing, if you were not in this environment, you probably would not get that opportunity, right? So I just want to point that out, a little side note that, there's a lot more to tennis, and college gives you a lot as well, but just to have those skills, it's absolutely amazing. Yes, Gustavo, I'm sorry.
No, it's great. I agree with you. Tennis gives you so much. And we talked a little bit about your guys's recruiting process, your thought process. How do you choose your school? We talked a little bit about some of your favorite moments. We want to talk about the summers and the winter breaks, right? Because everybody's different. Some people use it to get ahead in training, do a little preseason. Others just take it to rest, go vacation, and others take a summer job, an internship, and that's where you're at, Gibby. You were telling us earlier you're doing an internship. So can you tell us, can you tell our players here, how did you go about getting that internship, and are you able to still train? Is it very demanding? How is that internship going for you?
Yeah, so this is my first summer in the corporate world. I've been like every summer since I was, I guess, like 8 has revolved around tennis. Either I'm training and playing tournaments, or I'm coaching. And so this summer has been definitely an adjustment, and I'm coming home and I'm like tired all the time. And I feel like I haven't really done anything, because normally I'd be tired from like training or being in the sun all day, but now I'm like tired from like working in the office all day. And so like it's definitely an adjustment. But yeah, I'm a marketing intern at Anheuser-Busch, and it's really cool for me because that is something I'm really interested in doing when I leave college. And I actually found out about the internship opportunity through this organization that I'm in that is for student athletes of color. It's really cool. It's called Make a Play. And there's actually a lot of tennis players in the program, and actually a couple girls from Eastern. I don't know if there are any boys from Eastern, but there are a few girls from Eastern that I've seen, and I'm like, whoa. And like a few people that I've played at tournaments, like from like other sections. So that's been really, really cool to see. But I found out about this internship through them. And yeah, I don't get to train as much as I would like, or as much as I had hoped I would, but I train about two to three times a week. And then I get to the gym when I can. But my internship's going to be done on August 13th. And I plan on getting back to school like right away. So I'm probably going to start training with pretty much whoever's there from my team once I get back there, and really start trying to grind again and get ready for a fall season, because we haven't had one in 2 years. So I'm really excited.
Will, you were selected to be a part of the USTA summer college team. Can you tell our players what it is and how is that helping you?
Yeah, it's I guess the top few American players in college, and USTA sends a coach to the tournament, and they help you out with practice and you know, anything you need, and they also help you out with a little grant, which is also really important, especially turning pro. You pay all your expenses and everything, and obviously tennis, as everyone knows, is not, you know, the cheapest sport. So that's important. And yeah, it's good. It's an honor. It's always good to be, you know, selected on those teams. I've actually played, because of Newport, a different little bit of a route than some of the other guys that have played the same tournaments. I was fortunate to be able to play Newport, and so I've gone on a little bit of a different route. But yeah, it's always nice to be selected for those teams.
And you're off to a great start. And you've had a few more summers and winter break than Gibby, but can you tell us, what did you do in your summer and winter breaks? Did you use them more for training? Did you play tournaments? Did you rest? How did you go about your summers and breaks?
Yeah, the breaks, you know, when you're kind of starting out in school, you want to get back home kind of as much as you can, because you miss it. You miss your high school friends. And then once you get over that, you don't want to leave school. So I, towards the end, I kind of stayed at school for most of my breaks, to be honest with you. I'd go home for the longer winter breaks, but I would train or play tournaments, and, you know, go down to warmer weather to get in the humidity and get in better shape. But in the summers, normally I was pretty tired after the season. So I'd take a week or two or whatever off. And then I'd start to play and train and use it as an amazing training block, as well as tournaments, and just play as much as I can. Play tournaments. I'm also an avid golfer, so the summer is always big for the golf game, you know, trying to play as much golf as I can. But yeah, just training and you know, whatever. I think it's important. I mean, I'm huge on tennis and everything, but I'm also, you know, I preach. I have a lot of kids that ask me, hey, you know, what would you tell me before going to school? Or even younger kids, 10 years old, you know, what should I do? I think it's important to have like a life. I think it's important to do other things besides tennis, and, you know, not just, I mean, for me, when I've focused on tennis 100%, it's important. Obviously it's important, and you want to do that. But when you put everything in tennis, which is important to do, sometimes when it doesn't go perfectly or you get injured, you feel very lost. But if you have other things going on, I think it's important. And I also think that I've played my best tennis when I've been happy. So for me, that means, you know, not just training every day. That means, you know, maybe playing golf or seeing my friends. Or so in the summer, you know, of course I'm focusing on tennis. It's a great opportunity for me to play tournaments and get pro points. And I'm worried about the same thing everyone else is, but I think it's important also to, find other things that, you enjoy.
No, absolutely. And I think summer and winter breaks are important to get ahead, but also to get your mind right, and having other activities is great. And you mentioned golf, but we also know you host a podcast, right? So when did you start that? And you tell our listeners why did you start it, and how is that helping you, or is it just a hobby?
Yeah, I started it like, I don't know, during the last April or May or something. I don't know. I was just talking to my girlfriend and I was like, I don't know. I just feel like it would be a fun thing to do. Like I'm a little bit of a quieter person sometimes, but I like to pick people's brains a lot, especially my friends, and being in school, you get to meet other athletes, and through tennis, I've been fortunate to meet a lot of people and other athletes, and I love picking their brains. I love, learning what makes them tick, why, in competitive situations. One thing I deal with a lot is nerves. I get really nervous, which makes me not be able to eat like in the morning of a match sometimes if I'm really nervous or whatever. So I ask other people, hey, what do you think of this, or what, and I just like picking people's brains. And so I said, you know what, I'm just going to start it. Why not? I'm going to ask other people, and maybe other people will enjoy listening to it. So I started it and started recording them, and it was fun. During the season, I was too busy with, all the COVID protocols in school and tennis and everything. So I stopped it, but I'm going to start it up here soon. So I'm excited.
That's awesome. What's it called? So our listeners can.
It's called The Journey of Success. It's a little cliche. Don't hate me for that, but it's.
No, I love it. Journey of Success. So everybody check it out. And I think it's a great insight there. Always be looking to learn. Always be open to learning. As good as a player that you are, you're still picking people's brain. I think that's a great lesson for our players here. And you mentioned, Will, that after every year in college, you wanted to go pro, and you were thinking about going pro. But did you know that when you were a junior, or did that change until you went to college?
I think for me, I kind of knew that I wanted to give it a shot. I think not when I was 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever. I think it became more real as I was starting to travel and play the tournaments and play the the ITF, circuit, and my results were kind of showing that, I feel like I had the level, and yeah, so I feel like I decided that was something that was important to me. But yeah, I think people, it's hard to realize. It's even, I'm still learning to this day, but it's difficult because you don't realize what goes into it, right? I mean, even as a junior, you're training a lot and doing a lot, but having it as your job and traveling every week is very different. And it's very mentally taxing. There's a lot that goes into it. It's very taxing on the body. So, and you need to be able to do that for, tennis is the longest season of any sport. So you need to be able to do that for a long time. So I just was never ready, but it was something that I've always wanted to do. And I felt ready my last year, but yeah.
On that note, what advice would you give to the players listening and have the dreams to go pro and, follow your path?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. It's fun. I really would say, you're able. I was talking to Jack about this yesterday. Jack Sock has had 5 billion times of a better career than me so far. But I was talking about the other day. I said, because he stayed in high school his whole career. I said, how are you able to do that? He said, listen, I think that if you're good enough and you're passionate enough, you can find a way to train. He stayed in school from 8 to 1 or 8 to 2 p.m., almost a full schedule. Even when I went back, I was able to do a half. So I think that my advice is for sure, go for it. I think college is an amazing asset for you to have. You can have a place where you literally have a better training setup than 99% of professionals. That's a guarantee for me. I've seen it from the top. I was fortunate enough to train with Federer in the summer. You're not going to have a better training setup than him, but you're going to have a better training setup than everyone else besides him, pretty much anyone else in the top 5. You have a nutritionist, someone to help you with your mental health, your fitness, your training, your best friends are around you, your academics are there. You literally have everything around you. So, make the most of it. I think people that ask me, what's super important when you go to college, my things are just be great about the intangible items in your life, like showing up on time. Anything that takes no talent, you have to just crush, like showing up on time, being coachable, a good attitude, being prepared, not going up to practice with one racket and breaking your string, doing everything you can to just continue to be the best version of yourself and continue to push and use everything. When I walked in, I remember I was just in the training room today. The first time I went into the training room, I was so nervous. I had to leave. I couldn't walk in. I walked in and I was so nervous of all the other athletes there. I was like, oh my God, I have to go home. I went home. I said, my body feels good. I left. So it's just being comfortable. Of course, you're going to be nervous, but continue to be, comfortable being uncomfortable. But I think that's my biggest advice, and no matter what you do, is just be great at things you can control, because there's a lot of things in your life that you won't be able to.
Thank you. That's really, really great advice. Gibby, I think, is clapping. Gibbs, what are your plans after school? Have you thought of it?
Yeah, I don't know. Will is hyping up college so much, it's making me want to take a 5th year now with my extra eligibility. And I agree. Like, I'm thinking about all the things that I have that are like kind of like I'm not going to be able to do. And even now, like in summer, like I want to go to the gym more, but it's so far from me, or like the setup's not the same as the gym at school where I can just walk there in 15 minutes and then just do everything I need to do. My trainer is there and then leave. So yeah, I'm thinking about that now. But also I'm thinking about going into marketing or going into law. So that also means law definitely means more school. So yeah, I'm not completely positive. And in terms of tennis, I think I probably am going to play like, those USTA adult tournaments and get into those, and probably play a lot recreationally and with my friends, but I don't see myself going pro. And yeah, just continuing focusing kind of on this like marketing track that I'm on, or law.
That's great to hear. I mean, we wish you lots of success, and we'll rope you in at some other, in a few years again. It's like, where are you now?
Yeah, maybe I honestly take my extra years.
Yeah. And our last question for you guys, and for both, and probably Will, you can go first. Any advice you can give to your 16-year-old self? Thinking back.
It's a good question. I think that my biggest piece of advice is that not every single match you play and not everything you do and not everything is matters and seems as big as it is. And I think that's super important to just remember to have fun. And, I remember being so stressed out about every single match I'd play, or every single thing I'd do, or every Instagram I'd post, or, does this look cool, or does this, whatever. I think that it's super crucial to just remember why you're doing it, to have fun, and to just continue to do it for the right reasons. You'd probably ask me why I'm saying so much to do other things, but I think it's super important. Like, you need to just, like, every single person that I've ever met that have played tennis, from, number one in the world to whoever, the people that succeed the most, obviously are the most invested and put, incredible amounts of time. You need to do that, but they also are happy and find a way to do what they do. So of course it seems like everything is so important and college is so daunting and everything, but it'll work out for sure. Continue to put your best foot forward, continue to manage and do everything you can to take care of everything that takes absolutely no talent, right? Waking up on time, doing all these things. And I'm big in putting in work when no one's watching. So I would tell myself to get my booty out of bed and stop going on my phone, late in the night, and work when no one's watching, work when your parents don't tell you, work when your coach doesn't tell you, go put in an extra session in the gym, do something because you want to, because someone else isn't doing that. I think that's super important. But yeah, just have fun. It's not as crucial. It's not as serious. And if you lose one match here, it's okay. If your UTR doesn't look so good today, it's okay. It's really not a big deal. Just take care of those things, and college coaches recognize that. I think it's really important.
Thank you. Very super valuable. Gibbs, anything to add? I know he's extremely thorough, which is great.
Yeah.
Anything you want to add?
for me, like Will was saying, kind of on a similar note, for me, I was really, really nervous, especially when college recruiting time came around. Like, I was really, really focused on my tennis recruiting. I was really, really focused on my UTR. And that hurt me in the end, I think. It made me not enjoy tennis as much. It made me an absolute head case on court in terms of just like down to the point that I lost. I was like, oh no, like these numbers are going to go down. And that really took a toll on me. And like Will was saying, I lost sight of why I was playing tennis. Everything was, to make my tennis recruiting go up so that I could get to X college and have Y career. And, I wasn't really playing tennis for the fun of it. And so I would say, don't focus on that stuff as much. And obviously it's way easier said than done, but I would just say kind of get in touch with why it is that you like tennis. And if you're losing sight of that, take time to really reflect and on what's important, and what's important to you and what makes you feel happy. And, don't focus too much on the things that you kind of can't really control at the end of the day, and the numbers, because that stuff will drive you crazy. And at the end of the day, it will make you a worse tennis player because you will always be super hard on yourself. So, yeah.
No, I think that's great advice from all of you. I think you guys covered some great points. We love that, well, you're a bit more experienced and you're going to pro. Gibby, you're taking more of the academic route. So on behalf of USTA Eastern, we want to thank you both for taking the time to talk to our players. We have some partners, some coaches. So thank you so much. We want to best of luck in your internship, Gibby. We'll be following on your tour, and we'll see you at the US Open, hopefully with Jack. So,
Thank you, guys. Thanks so much for joining.
have a good night.
I'll
It
leave
was
my
so
email
valuable.
before to leave.